We living in a world where Jake Paul was letting Mike Tyson live. But really what I want to talk about is why Rosie Perez was there. No. This is a Warriors video. I'm just talking trash. Let's talk Warriors Grizzlies. It was kind of an ugly one Friday night in a cup game. No Ja Morant. Memphis, to me, in a lot of ways, is like the Miami Heat Western Conference. They have a style of play. They have a culture. And, they're going to try to muck the game up because it usually favors them. And Draymond gets ejected, his first ejection of the season, 2 technicals. And to the casual fan of the NBA, you say, oh, Draymond's unhinged. It's the same old Draymond. But Dub Nation, there's like 2 different types of Draymond ejections. And I understand if you're like, neither of them are acceptable. But I think this version you can live with. When he's engaged, he wants to win. He was like relatively mild-mannered. He wasn't unhinged, but his reputation precedes himself. And he piled him up there at the end where it was just weird, man. Memphis, I think, as bad as the refs were, again, I think Memphis did this on purpose. And then you heard Draymond talk about how they were moving weird offensively, And, generally speaking, you have these offensive principles, baseline drive, baseline drift, right? And you're supposed to drift into the vision of the ball handler to make the pass easier, right? Where Memphis kind of does, they go like against the grain and they'll rotate like the opposite direction and it catches the rotations off guard a little bit. But they shot like 16% from 3. That certainly helped our cause. Let's talk about Lindy Waters. He gets the start. Steve, with Melton obviously out, he almost does, whoever is like next up in the rotation, if you always think, okay, the 6th or 7th guy would now step into the starting lineup. And Steve's like, no, whoever's at the end of the rotation is going to start. That's just been like what he's done since the beginning of time as the Warriors coach. So Lindy gets to start. He has 3 threes in the first half, and he looks like he's going to have a 20 ball. He's in rhythm. He's aggressive. And then he comes down on that knee, blocking a shot out in transition. I've never been at the peak of my jump and come down like that with a hyperextension, but I can imagine how painful that is because I've just taken a bad stride and hyperextended the knee, and that hurts. There's like a buckling that happens that, first off, it scares you, and then it's painful. And, the worst fear is always when you see a guy holding their knee in that much pain, you think, okay, the ACL. But then on the second look of it, and you seeing it buckle on the hyperextension, it didn't look too graphic. It wasn't like a hide your eyes buckle. So in my experience, it's one of 2 things. It's either a bone bruise where the joint, when it buckles, right? And that's what you're kind of hoping for, even though those can linger. And then the second one would be the meniscus. And that one would be obviously much more problematic. Now, are you going to go in and repair it, or are you going to try to heal it? And we're looking at a much longer timetable typically than a bone bruise. So that sucks, man, especially like at a time in his career when he's finally getting an opportunity. I hate that. You hate an injury at any time, but in that moment for him right now. So hopefully it's just a bone bruise. It was encouraging that he got up and walked off on his own power, but I haven't heard the news on Lindy. But honestly, I was so relieved that Steph wasn't playing in that 4th quarter because those are the type of games where unnecessary injuries happen. The refs they were too involved, and then you had guys flopping and trying to get retaliation calls, and Memphis is always going to be chippy, right? It got physical. They got a lot of dogs on that team. It almost feels like Memphis is coached up to throw the elbow across the face, either when they're in the block or when they're coming downhill. I don't know how many times Warrior players were clipped in the face from a high elbow. At a certain point, are you going to call a technical on that or not, right? But we, I was going to say we escape unscathed, but we don't because of Lindy. But, it's going to be interesting with these cup games where there's a point differential that matters, right? The score matters. And so you get I think you're going to get these weird 4th quarters where typically both teams in the NBA realize, all right, it's a 20-point game. We're going to go through the motions. And now you're going to get this edgy physical play. And I think the refs are going to have to learn to referee that better. Draymond becoming the most elite challenger of calls was not on my bingo card. I don't know about you, right? But like how emotional he gets, and you look at how bad the Warriors were at making challenges last year. What is he, like 5 of 5, 6 of 6? Yeah, you got to listen to him, right? He's elite at it. But yeah, if you were out Friday night and you didn't catch this one, you didn't miss much. You didn't miss much. It was a strength in numbers effort offensively. Pods had a nice bounce back game, 11, 7, and 5. Hit a 3, had a Euro step. Some nice passes. I'm sure you saw that behind the back pass. Listen, man, that's not luck. I said it in the breakdown. That's lucky like Pat Mahomes gets lucky. Like, was there some luck involved in the accuracy of it? Sure. But he knew exactly what he was doing with that, and Kuminga cleaned it up with the dunk. JK, what was he? He was like, he shot bad. Was he like 3 of 13 or something like that? It was one of his worst shooting performances. I've noticed he struggles against Jaren Jackson Jr. Not that they're matched up on each other, but just his presence in the paint. But hopefully he can have a bounce back game Sunday in Los Angeles against this Clippers team where, listen, what's the answer for Zubac? I dropped this video yesterday on possible big man targets for the Warriors. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I'll link it in the description. But I had some people in the comments say, well, they don't play big men anyway. Like, we don't need another big man. We're good. No, like, not every night. Not every night, but in a particular playoff matchup or in these particular matchups, like against the Clippers Sunday, we just don't have a guy with the size to hold Zubac from getting to wherever he wants on the floor. And, you know, I don't know if the answer is to double right away, or, you know, then you spread it out to their shooters. The Clippers have been overachieving. I said it when we took the loss. What was it, like the second game of the year, third game of the year? I was like, listen, in hindsight, you'll look back and say this loss wasn't as bad as you think. Like, the Clippers are pretty legit. And Norman Powell shooting the seams off the ball. And again, Zubac, it's not even the post catches. Just when he rolls, he sucks the defense in so much. So I don't know if the strategy is going to be like, let him eat all he can, and we're just going to play him straight up and see if he 40 balls us, or, you know, show these dynamic traps that killed us in the first meeting. But yeah, all in all, they take care of business despite the shenanigans at the end of the game. And the important thing was Steph didn't play that fourth quarter. And that's what's important in this 82-game season. When you're playing an undermanned team at home like the Grizzlies and you're supposed to win, don't make it more than it's got to be. Don't turn it into a wire job. And despite the end score, it wasn't a wire job, right? Because what that does is it gives you more opportunities in spots in the season to show up big time. When you're playing the Celtics, when you're playing the Lakers, right? The chances that you've got the juice to have a full out effort are much higher when you take care of the teams you're supposed to take care of in that fashion that they did last night. Anyway, just wanted to tap in with a quick one. Y'all enjoy the weekend. We'll be back with this Clippers breakdown Monday. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.